My name is Winnie Luby. I'm with CDCI, our academics coordinator, and I also coordinate our graduate certificate program. Today, I wanted to interview my colleague, Nicole Villamere, and we'll talk a bit about our work together. So, hi, Nicole. I'm glad you could come.
Hi, Winnie.
Hey. So my first question is, could you tell us what your relationship to disability is? And if you identify as a person with a disability?
Yes, my name is Nicole Villamere, and I identify with a disability. My relationship to disability is that I have multiple disabilities, and one of them is autism, and one of them is emotional disability, which I use dialectical behavioral therapy, and then I have gross and fine motor skill difficulties.
Okay. Thanks for telling me that. So what's your relationship to CDCI? I know you worked for CDCI like long before I worked here. So what's like, how did you get involved in CDCI?
Well, I actually was a office assistant. I got hired as an office assistant back a while back, and then I was like a mentor with a coworker that also worked for CDCI, and then and on the what's that the advisory committee for CDCI. And then I became a member, and I was on the advisory committee for quite a while. And then I started working with Winnie, doing some classes for TAing as work. And I also went to Think College program at UVM with Brian Day, and then I do some work. I'm working on my research project on Think College with Jesse Suter. And Brian Day. I'm trying to complete that, and that's about it. That's my relationship with CDCI.
Yeah, you're busy. I don't think we've talked about all those things at the same time before. That's a lot. Cool. So what's it been like? I guess we can talk about the class for short. Like at first we were working on designing a new class that we couldn't run because we didn't have enough students. It was about kind of like health advocacy course. We worked on that first, but then when the course didn't run, you started to TA for me for our cultural disability class, right? So what's your experience been like so far?
My experience with the cultural disability class has been quite amazing. I get to hop on to the class and teach like the viewpoint of self-advocacy from someone who has a disability, and I get to like talk to the class, and also I've learned a lot like with the class because I'm not really taking the class, but I get to, as a TA, I get to listen in on the class and be able to follow along with the videos and the readings and hear what everybody is working on, and it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
I like it. I think it's cool to learn stuff about the class, even So I'm not exactly taking it like I get to hop on and off, but I don't have to do the work.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I know the students really enjoy when you're there to like lead conversations.
Yeah, I
Um,
like leading conversations.
yeah, especially around I remember we were talking about your interest in self-advocacy as like a career. Um, and so has the class kind of been nice practice toward that, like talking about the things that you're interested in, like independent living and working and stuff like that?
Yes, I like talking about independent living and working and just being a peer specialist and doing everyday stuff that everyone else gets to do. I just have to do it my own way.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what's let me think. So what's the most satisfying thing about work doing the TAing for cultural disability?
Well, what's satisfying is that I'm working, so get to I get to be on the payroll for CDCI, and I also what's satisfying is that I get to meet the students and I get to learn about them and I get to like learn about the class and contribute with my self-advocacy and advocacy with disability rights. I get to teach them about what it is to include someone with a disability and so that they can see that they can kind of see a picture of what it's like with someone with a disability, TAing a course and doing things that everyone else can do.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah. So
cool.
they're learning a lot from just that you're there and being included and helping to run the class. They're learning a lot. Yeah. Cool. What's been the most challenging thing? I know when we were first starting to work together, um, I hadn't thought through how to get you materials ahead of time. I remember that being, and it's still kind of hard for me to do. My organization's probably my challenge. But what about you? What's been like challenging about being a TA?
Challenging about being a TA is like the time management, being able to get on the class and being able to do like the class and sometimes like I don't understand like what's going on in the class, but like contributing to the class and when I am able to like I will lead like sections
Mhm.
of the class and what's challenging is just being able to like know what's going on like without like working on like class stuff together like we sometimes like have trouble like organizing and create and putting together the program so that I can be involved with the class as well in a unique way.
Yeah, yeah. So we have to be really flexible and kind of, um, I know when we have our meetings to plan, we have to, just get to work right away and kind of figure out what we're going to do. And I think every semester has been a little bit different, which for me is kind of exciting. But I also know that I'm hoping we can kind of find what do I want to say? Um, I want to hope to be more consistent with like how I share things with you and how we like create things together more and more. Because a lot of the stuff in the class has been pretty much the same for a few years, but I really like when you give me more ideas to kind of embed and make it more unique. I really like that a lot. Um, what's the most surprising thing that you've learned about students?
The surprising thing that I've learned at students is that they have usually a lot to share and sometimes they have a lot to share. They usually have a lot to share, but sometimes they're like really shy at first
Mhm.
to open up. And I like just hearing about what they're up to and what they're learning from the class and growing as a person, like learning about disabilities and like being a UVM student and just some fascinating times. There was one student, one class that also somewhat had a disability. So that was kind of cool.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, we have students, a good number of students with disabilities in our classes, but they don't all feel as comfortable talking about it as you do.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah. So I think remembering the student you're talking about, like they really don't mind at all. They like talking about their experiences. So yeah, that was like really nice to have folks be open about it. Like I try to talk about my disabilities too, and sometimes I forget that, like trying to make people feel more welcome um
yeah.
and come.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like making people feel comfortable and welcome and like to maybe open up about things that they're struggling with or things that they're doing well. I
Yeah,
think they
yeah,
learn a lot.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, okay, this is the last question, actually. This is done really fast. What's one thing you would like everyone, but especially students, to know about your experience with disability?
One thing that I would like everyone to know about my experience with disability is to be patient, be kind, don't like treat me like a child, like treat me like just like everyone else and able to contribute to the world in my own way and treat me like a peer and just because I want to grow and learn and contribute to life just like everyone else does. I just have to do it my own way with my processing and my disabilities. And I'm
Yeah, I think,
really excited
yeah,
to just share my experience today.
yeah, awesome.